Okay, imagine this. Okay, you are a Chinese student. You're Malaysian, right? You're Chinese Malaysian student, Chinese in race, Malaysian in nationality. Most people, the only thing they could say is that you look Asian. You go to this college, and this college teaches its classes in English. This is a common thing, okay, for a lot of colleges, because a lot of colleges have international students. One day you walk into the college canteen, and then you find two Chinese people, okay, two very obese Chinese people, and you ask them, hey, can I put my bag down at your table? I want to go do something. And you expect a response or something, right? And they just stare at you angrily for some reason, right? They look pissed off. And you're like, well, why are they pissed off? Did I say something wrong? Well, you don't prod, anymore, and so you're just gonna, turn around and find somewhere else to put down your backpack. So then these two decide to speak extremely loudly, by the way. 为什么这个香蕉人跟我们说话? And that's what we're gonna be talking about today. Also, the kiss at the end, but that's besides the point. Another insecure banana that feels to need the best Chinese people who can speak Mandarin just to feel better about himself. Okay, this video isn't attacking Chinese educated people, not attacking Chinese speaking people, okay? I count as both of those. You know what you're doing when you're saying like, oh, these bananas are attacking Chinese people, right? I know what you're doing too. Okay, this is a tactic that you've been using to blur the lines between what your group is, what my group is, what I'm talking about. Okay? If you're gonna say mean things and you're gonna do even more terrible things, right? At least admit that this is the things that you and your group believe in, right? Okay, stop trying to lump everybody together. The reason why you're doing that is because if you can hide in a bigger group, it's gonna be way harder to attack you, right? No, you are not gonna hide. We know who your people are. Okay? At least say it with your chest. You fucking coward. So, in order for my criticisms to hold true, we must first ask the question, what is a banana? Okay, so the slang term banana, right, comes from, the fruit. Yellow on the outside, white on the inside. So basically what it means is somebody who is Chinese but cannot speak Chinese. However, that is inaccurate, and I'm going to show you why, and this is the part where I show you two videos.
我是 SK 的 sekolah kebangsaan，就是讲 environment 咯，像因为我的 classmate 很多是马来人然后我就比较多说马来话跟英文咯，然后我很少 practice 我的 Chinese 的，因为就是这样的 environment， 然后我的父母也没有逼我学华语，然后我就觉得没有什么兴趣要学也是啦，可是我觉得是很重要要学。可是我觉得，如果我是 banana 就 banana 咯。我觉得有些人会 offend。如果你像你讲，我的华语比你好嘞，然后你自己不会讲华语，你是华人咩这样啊？我觉得会叫 offend。可是如果叫 banana， 我觉得很 chill 啊。
你们知道今天要做什么吗？
不知道。
画画。
我听说你们小的时候有学过华语的，对不对？
是讲的。
噔噔。OK 吧，有半分嘛
？OK 了，有半分了。
耶！
拼音也对了。OK，Ben。这个一个华语字都不会。
我就写给你 flag 说半分啊。
7788，就是代表就是差不多要做完了的意思。
是
一年一度。
Not bad.
One year once.
Not bad, not bad, not bad. 五粉冰菜，有五吗？
你在我的菜上。
服务员，点菜。
五彩缤纷。
哦，五彩冰。
Look, I don't need to tell you that was Mandarin, right? Okay, they were speaking, Mandarin. It wasn't perfect Mandarin, but it was Mandarin. So those people have more of a capability of holding a basic conversation than someone who is considered not able to speak, right? So it's about fluency. Okay, so I'm gonna include this little definition right here. So there's gonna be a word that I might be using in the replacement of banana hater, because I fucking hate that word. I'm gonna be using the word Chinese ultra, right? And that's a word sort of coined by Comrade Confucius. We're gonna be talking about him a little later on. So there's a bit of a history, but you don't need to really know about that. I'm gonna put it on the screen anyways. But anyways, so Chinese ultras, right? They have this connotation that's sort of repeated, untrue connotations, by the way, and you'll see this in a lot of comments, right? The reason why they justify the hatred towards bananas and the discrimination and all the vile things that happen, right, is because bananas are the way they are because they hate Chinese culture, they disrespect Chinese culture, and they refuse to learn. However, none of these connotations are true if you take into account that people who speak Chinese also count as bananas. Also, another problem with the definition, Chinese is not a language. Chinese consists of a group of languages that we call dialects. And we only call them dialects because of political reasons and not linguistic ones. So there's even more confusion, there's even more confusion. You see, I can't even speak right now. This fundamental issue causes a unique phenomena called half bananas. Absolutely horrifying. And I have two examples of people speaking Cantonese and they consider themselves half bananas. One example of someone speaking Hokkien. And they're sort of like, they believe they're stuck in the banana purgatory, right? I just want to say something, right? It's very interesting that when they're in this in-between, they still call themselves bananas. You see, we accept anyone, regardless of language, and they only accept people who speak fluent Chinese. Okay, so far we've seen how the vagueness of the definition causes a lot of people to be lumped into this banana-like title, right? And from that also receive the full bulk of the punishment. There's one thing that really isn't mentioned much, which is reading and writing. So that adds even more complexity. So reading and writing is important to preserve a culture. However, because Chinese is very different from other languages, reading and writing isn't really considered something that is a must for you to, be one of them. This is because reading and writing is very hard in Chinese. There is thousands of characters versus English, which only has 26 letters. He more like stupid banana. I can at least speak Mandarin, Cantonese, and Hakka. Only can't read or write. Yes, I went to Sekolah Kebangsaan. I can speak Malay with Malay accent. Wait, what was that?
You arrogant asshole. Consequences. What you say? That's the only way. What you say?
Okay, I had a lot of bad luck trying to record audio for this video, okay? So if at any point in this video I sounded, very low, monotone, or just didn't make sense, I don't care, okay? I tried my best. It's really hard to try to make the video, okay? I had to do a lot of talking, and a lot of it doesn't make sense, and a lot of editing, and I had to re-record a lot of stuff. So please, okay, just accept it. Okay, it's a very common thing online. Certain people are, constantly saying, Again, the same old thing, that Chinese people, Chinese educated people are being bullied by bananas, okay? And not the other way around. I'm not going to downplay anyone's experiences. However, if you want to deny that bananas are being bullied, I'm just going to show you a few pictures.
Monday was the day at school I got hit the hardest by my teachers. Why? One reason, because I spoke very little Mandarin.
And it's not like, it's not saying like you're Chinese, you need to know Chinese. They really, like my teachers, especially last time, they shame you and you know.
But because I didn't learn Chinese, I just took that as a suggestion rather than an order. She started to turn absolutely nasty to me. You are not fit to be a teacher once. But
I don't know how to write Chinese. I didn't speak Chinese very well. And I remember just understanding very little Cantonese, and someone said, yan, yan. That means not a person. Yan means person. Guai, guai. Not a foreigner. Not a devil, not a foreigner. That's what we call the Caucasians. So to them, I was like a banana.
Okay, bullying. Bullying in the workplace. Child abuse. Harassment. Islamophobia and racism. Coercion. More bullying. Workplace harassment. So the next part is media literacy. So there's a video made by a channel called Elvin Vivian, right? And the video is called "Actually I Don't Speak Chinese." The video is actually very basic. Banana guy goes to interview. The interviewer calls their boss, you know, that the interview was a waste of time because the interviewee is a banana. Banana understands what she is saying, which, by the way, is a fucking contradiction to... Banana stands up for himself. Insults are thrown. He leaves. So just to make things clear, the things in the video don't actually happen. Yes? If you have a brain, they don't happen because it is acting. Alright? So what's the point of the video? Well, the point of the video is quite clear. It is made for the full purpose of expressing the frustrations that we bananas may feel when job hunting, because jobs often have this little part at the bottom that says Mandarin speaker required or Mandarin speaker preferred. Not to mention that a sizable amount of the population don't speak Chinese. If you've forgotten, the chances of this happening in real life are near zero, right? It's low. But the video is purposely exaggerated, right? It is for the sake of, you know, a bit of emotion, right? So the video is, you know, a little bit hyperbolic, right? Because, you know, for the sake of emotion. You know, that's what art is. The comments highlight very interesting things. It highlights that the people watching, a lot of people watching, don't have media literacy. And then look at these stupid comments, right? What, he ashamed of being Chinese so he doesn't speak Chinese? Oh my god. No bitch, he doesn't know how to speak Chinese. Okay, because he is a banana in this situation, right? He understands Chinese, much like many other bananas. Again, the definition, if he was, then it is his mistake. If he wasn't, then this is the company's mistake, right? Interviewers shouldn't complain about wasting time. But that's the thing though, this doesn't happen because most of us see the little thing at the bottom, right? And then we understand, we have time to prepare and understand that if we go in, we're gonna be blamed, right? And then this stupid motherfucker, right? Look, call me a fucking no-lifer, right? But I recognize this writing style. Buddy, we've talked to each other on Reddit, I think. Right? We've talked to each other on Reddit, I'm pretty sure. Because this writing style is fucking... it's so annoying and it's like so recognizable. the final boss, and I'm not gonna try to read it because I know for a fact I'm gonna stumble and then it's gonna ruin the video. NBA star Jeremy Lin, despite the fact that he is from the US and has US education, also knows how to speak Chinese. Hey buddy, what does Jeremy Lin have to do with any of this? You know? Jeremy Lin is, you know, a successful basketball player, and he knows how to speak Chinese. Okay, that's cool. Okay, so I'm just gonna go and I'm gonna go and have some cocaine in my system because one famous, like, you know, rock star, you know, also had fucking cocaine in his system, right? That's basically what you're saying, right? Look, Jeremy Lin can, you know, learn Chinese however he wants, right? If he wants to feel a connection to his ancestors or whatever, right? He has the right to. But he doesn't have the responsibility of learning Chinese, okay? He didn't learn Chinese because somebody was like, you know, having a giant rotan fucking forcing him to learn. No, he learned it on his own accord. There is no universal responsibility to know the language of your ancestors, okay? And I'm gonna go to the next part and I'm gonna explain why. So I want to talk about this guy called Comrade Confucius. Okay, he's recently changed his channel name. I don't know what that's about, but yeah, he talks a lot about stuff. He talks about socialism. He talks about, you know, a good direction that our country should be headed towards. A little bit about history, right? And one of the things he likes to talk about is, you know, bananas. He's gained a lot of haters and a lot of hate comments, you know, because he's been doing this quite a long time. And one comment that was really interesting is by this guy at Perkaja. Even as a Baba Nyonya, you at least learn your mother tongue. Now, I apologize for just skipping that comment, but we're gonna put that comment aside first. I want to look at others, right? You know, there's this one talking about history and nitpicking about history. Okay, this guy has not a single clue to what the video is about. You just heard some history facts that he was like, oh, technically, yeah, I don't care. This guy tries to claim that racial prejudice isn't the same as racism. I've heard that one before. And then this one, you know, is really colorful. You shit baba, you make all type of shit claims to glorify your shit baba culture, blah 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 blah. Cambridge U history professor, check Archie's in London. Who the fuck is Archie's, by the way? I couldn't figure it out. I think he means archives. And then secondly, why would you check the archives in London? That's not how history works. You can't just go to someone's archives, right? Look through it, and if they don't have the archives there, oh, it doesn't exist. But you know, someone like Lee Jeong isn't gonna know much about it. I collected on his channel out of curiosity, by the way. Really colorful person. Okay, so this guy, he is Peranakan, and because he is Peranakan, he doesn't speak Chinese. Let's go back to the comment that I was talking about. This comment is very interesting because it talks about the mother tongue, the roots. This brings us back to the whole definition thing. If you speak Mandarin, are you actually connecting to your roots? You are not connecting to your roots. Most of us are of Southern Chinese descent. That means that most of our ancestors have never spoken Mandarin. So those are roots. Well, then you're like, oh, okay. Well, you need to learn the dialect of your people, right? But what does that mean? You know the dialect of your people because, well, maybe your parents spoke it, your grandparents speak it, right? So, when you say shit like, oh, Baba Nyonya should learn their mother tongue, right? Their mother tongue would be English because that's what they've been speaking for quite a long time, ever since the British brought the language here, right? Then you're like, okay, so let's just go back, all the way back, which is ridiculous, by the way, all the way back to the last point where someone spoke Chinese in your family tree. if you're saying English isn't the original language of this man, and you're saying Chinese is, what's stopping me from saying, oh, well, that's not the correct one? Well, your ancestors might have spoken a dialect of Chinese, but their ancestors also spoke a different dialect of Chinese, yes? Are you willing to call your ancestors bananas because they didn't speak the dialect of their ancestors? If I went far back enough, eventually I'll reach to this language. Okay, so I'm just gonna set this as my main dialect. I'm gonna learn this one, and then I will be superior compared to you because I'm closer to my roots. Okay, so I automatically win. Okay, I just realized this section might have lacked a bit of power because the banana haters are just gonna make up some history about like, oh, their dialect is the most pure, therefore this is the best dialect that they can learn, right? But that's not the point. The point is we are in history right now. Cultures change, languages change. The languages we speak change. Who are you to say that someone's mother tongue can't be English because they have yellow skin? There are tons of examples. The Caribbeans don't speak an African language. They do speak languages that are influenced by African vocabulary, right? The people of Mexico used to speak their own native tongues, and then, they now speak Spanish, right? Mexican Spanish. English used to sound really different from the English we speak today, and is heavily influenced by a lot of Latin, right? The Norman invasions, and what have you, right? And another point, but this point wasn't big enough for me to have a whole section, is economic growth and economic influence of Chinese. Okay, I don't care. I don't think most people care. Most people who learn Mandarin don't care, right? Maybe it's surprising to you. A lot of the white guys you see learning Mandarin, right? They don't actually learn it because of the economic influence. They learn it because they love Chinese culture. None of that has to do with the economy. And if the economy of China somehow collapses, the very same people are still gonna be learning Chinese. Also, this whole like, oh, China's gonna take over the world thing has been like said to me for like 20 plus years. I've yet to see it, right? I know some conspiracy bros are saying like, oh, it's already beginning to happen, right? But it's already beginning to happen for 20 plus years, okay? I don't know how long this beginning is gonna be. What's the conclusion of the video? Not really much of a conclusion. I just made this video just to be like hee hee ha ha, just making fun of the whole thing. Because the whole thing is stupid. Language discrimination is stupid. I think most people would agree that discriminating someone because of their language capabilities is dumb. Look, making this video was rough. I made a lot more parts to this video, right? But like I had to keep a lot of it out because it was just me rambling, Oh, there was this part about me asking, of the reverse, right? Because clearly there's some people who claim that, oh, it's the other way around. And there are a fuck ton of comments that claim this, but very rarely do I see stories. So for bananas, right? For bananas, when we complain about, the discrimination we went through, we have a story, right, of the discrimination we went through. But the other side don't have anything, don't have any stories. But anyways, yeah. Yeah. Some Chinese ultra poetry. You pig-faced baba shit, go and sex pigs. Your 3-inch cock, smelly chink, enlarge your cock to 6 inches. Talk about CCP, you know nothing about the Middle East, fuck off. Your 3-inch cock, sex with a monkey. You jack pig, you 3-inch cock needs to be enlarged to 6-inch, or you are not fit to be praised, or condemned other countries. What do you know? You are smelly Chinese chink. You African ape, you praise Jesus, God invented by man. You must summon Jesus down from heaven and let fuck your asshole. Let Jesus enjoy fucking 2 in 1 arsehole. A black smelly asshole and the asshole of an African ape, and you can yell like an ape.